Welcome back, I'm Captain Xavier, and this is the next video in my 2023 New Year's Build Project vlog. And today I'm going to be starting the rewiring on the Smartgun. So off camera, I did all the breadboarding and all of the prototyping and testing for the Nerf Duino. I have replaced all of the wiring. The only thing that remains in here from the original blaster are the switches. All of the wiring is getting replaced. I have replaced the Arduino that was in here with a Nerf Duino. It's got its own little holder there. The on switch, the trigger switch, and the switches up here were there before. Though this button up here previously didn't do anything, and now it will. So there are some new wires that go to it, and I will go over all the details of what that is about. And yeah, the wiring will be a little bit simpler because there are fewer components. There's no buck converter because the Nerf Duino runs on 12 volts. There's no MOSFET because the Arduino has one built into it. And so that will make things a little bit simpler. I'm also not going to be having all of the various components that go to the front end of the blaster on their own jacks. I will be using one massive 16-pin coupler that will be right about here. Actually, it might be a little bit further forward. Now, this is not cosmetically accurate, though there were some wires that hung down from here, but this is just so that I can more easily remove the front end of the blaster from the back end without having a bunch of different jacks that I have to worry about that all get tucked in. This will be external, it'll hang down below, it will be covered so it won't have all the colors. But it'll make it much, much easier to disconnect the front and the back. It'll also make a lot of the wiring simpler because I have all of this wire already connected to their jacks. It'll just be a matter of getting it all connected. So, yeah. I do have one of the original motors still in the original flywheel cage as well as the original motor controller so that I can test everything. I am, as I'm speaking, printing the new flywheel cage, and I will print new flywheels, and that will have whole new motors, which may require me to reflash the motor controllers. I'm not actually sure. I will be testing that as well, but all of that can be done later. Right now, I'm mostly going to be wiring up this part, which all of this is kind of separate. So we're going to be using this end. I will be going in through here. I will probably print a new one of this plate because this one is warped. But that is where the wires will come in and come in under this way and snake around and all of that. I will be using some pin connecting wires. If I can find an example from the bin here. Yeah, here we go. So rather than soldering onto the Arduino, it has pins, and I have these wires that are designed for, are not focusing, but that will allow me to simply connect onto those pins, and that way I can remove and change things a lot easier than if things were soldered on. And so that's how that's gonna work. And yeah, it should he says, should be fairly straightforward. This is a brand new programmed Arduino. I have not actually tested it yet. So yeah, we're gonna get going. It's gonna be a lot of soldering. Where did stuff go? Stuff got put places. Alright, first component I've connected is power. So this XD60 will actually normally connect to the another XD60 that connects to the magazine, which is my battery housing, the drum magazine. But I can also just connect a LiPo directly up to it, and now when I flip the switch, the light comes on and the blaster will have power. So next, we're going to power the Arduino, or the Nerf Duino, rather. And we're gonna snake up and under, and we are going to connect using an XD30 connector because, again, remember, I want to be able to easily disconnect the Nerfduino should I need to either replace it or if I want to upgrade the code on it or something. And so this end will connect directly to our switch here, and then I'll solder on an XT60 on the other end, and that is how the Nerfduino will get power. Alright, next component was power for the Nerfduino. Power's on. Light here, light there. We're good. Okay. Right, I've got a couple additional things wired up. I've got the trigger switch can now be connected right there. It does have an electric lock. It is wired to the MOSFET that's built into the board, so which is activated when Rev is activated. So I could test that. In fact, I am now going to test everything because I can. Or at least, I think I can. Alright, this initial test is going to be to test the just rev. Okay, will it rev when it's supposed to? So there's the motor turning on. There's it initializing. And there is it revving. So pushing the rev switch causes the motor to rev. Now we're going to look at the more interesting, the new stuff that I've added that I'm hoping is working. And that is this button. What does that button do, and does it do it? We need to hook up a couple more wires here real quick. Alright, let's give it a try. Plug in our motors. Revving, it should do the same thing. But now, if everything's working, when I push this button, it should light up, and the motors spin faster. That is what that button is there for. That is my overdrive, my high power, whatever. Without it pressed, I'll have it. I plan to dial it into about 120 FPS, so I can use it at things like Afterworlds or any LARPs or anywhere else that allows 120 as the lower cap HVZs, perhaps. And then pushing the button will put it into max, which will be how fast can these motors go. Though actually, that I will probably dial to 150, so I can use it at Nerf Wars. Yeah. That's the newest feature. Getting that light to light up was a little more difficult than you would think because the switch was originally designed for 12 volts, but I'm not putting 12 volts through it. I'm putting signal wire through it. It's just a switch that the Arduino detects, so there isn't actually 12 volts of current, which is what that LED needed to light up. So I had to replace the LED with a 5-volt LED. That is all working correctly. Now I can continue the wiring. Right now I'm just using these test wires that are used for breadboarding, for testing circuits, building circuits, but eventually it will all run through here. Obviously the motor controllers will be using the same battery power. I just have to get that wired in. Yeah. It's all gonna get connected through this eventually. But I think this will be it for today. It's getting late. I'm getting hungry. and I got stuff to do. So, there we are for today. Stay tuned for next time, when hopefully I will get one of this end wired in. All of these will be going to this thing. They will be bundled up and run cleanly and all of that. So it won't be a great big mess like it currently kind of is. But yeah, I am pleased with how it's coming together. So thank you for watching.